For this video, we're going to create a 2D drawing from exercise 15-4. Start by switching to my layout space, deleting the default layout that comes in, and I want to click on my layout ribbon, check and make sure that it is third angle projection, and then go to base from model space. So at this point I can put in my front view, my top view, my right side, and my isometric. Say enter. Now I've got in all of my views that I need to have in. Really what's going to make this one a little bit different from the other ones that I've done is at this point I want to put in some additional stuff that kind of lets me know what's going on. Like I may want to put center marks on these holes. So on the Annotate tab, if I click this drop down right here under Dimensions, I can click right here for center mark. And then I can just select the circles that I want the center marks to be on. And that's just going to serve as a guide during dimensioning and everything else as to where those things are going to be. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and start the dimensioning process. And I'm going to start this kind of the same way I always do. I'm going to do some overalls. So here is my overall length of 110. My overall depth is going to be 55. The drawing file for this doesn't actually have an overall height. It has a 50 and a 35. But rather than using the 50 and the 35, I'm going to use an overall height dimension of 85 and then another dimension of 50. It's going to accomplish the same thing, but it takes out some of the guesswork as to what the overall height is. Because if somebody's trying to just figure out what the overall volume of the part's going to take up, the overall height is what they're really going to be looking for. So I'm going to give that to them. So at this point I can put in the 15 here, the 25 here, and I'm just clicking on the end point of the previous dimension to line these up. So we've got an overall width here of 55. The height of this is 20. And again, just making sure that all the dimensions are placed is going to be key to whether or not you get this right. So let me go ahead and continue dimensioning. I've got a dimension from here to here of 17.5. And that is not right. That should be 35. So what it looks like happened is I accidentally selected something in paper space, which was this line right here. So these are scaled down by half to fit on the sheet. So when I dimension this, I want to make sure when I click on dimension that I click here and the center point of this to get the 35. So now that I've got that 35 in place, I can continue dimensioning. We've got here to the center of here, which is going to be 30. I don't really think I need the dimension between here and here at 27.5, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in because it's one of the dimensions in the book. Now I want you to notice, since this is a metric standard, it's using a comma. Just go ahead and leave the comma as it is and put in your dimensions. Lastly, I need to put in a couple of diameter dimensions, so I'll come up here and go to diameter. This circle right here, I want to have a diameter of 46. This circle is going to be 16, and this circle here is going to be 20. So I'm now going to go back and double check, make sure that I have all my dimensions. So I've got the 55, the 15, the 25. Looks like I've got the 55 twice, so I want to delete it from over here. I've got the height of 20, the height of 50, the 35. I do not have the height of 15 over here, so it's a good thing I'm double checking. So there's the 15, I've got the other 35, I've got all three of my diameters. It looks like I now have all of the dimensions that I need to have for this particular object. So at this point, I'm ready to save it and turn it in.